Welcome back to our channel, Coin History Vault. These Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny coins make people rich. Let's find out why. Don't miss out one of these. Who know a sigil coin make you rich? Let's start this. Coin 1. Today we are diving into a small brown coin that looks ordinary at first glance, but hides an extraordinary story that has fascinated collectors for decades. If you have ever held a 1944 Lincoln wheat penny in your hand, you may have wondered why people talk about it so passionately. This is not just a coin, it is a silent witness to World War II, American industry, and some of the most famous minting mistakes in U.S. history. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will never look at a 1944 wheat penny the same way again. The year 1944 was a turning point for the United States. Factories were running day and night, soldiers were overseas, and copper was in high demand for the war effort. Just 1 year earlier, in 1943, the U.S. Mint had stopped using copper entirely and produced steel pennies instead. People hated them. They rusted, they were confused with dimes, and vending machines rejected them. So in 1944, the Mint brought copper back, but not in the usual way. These pennies were struck using recycled shell casings from the battlefield, giving the coin a powerful connection to history. Every normal 1944 wheat penny you see is made mostly of copper reclaimed from wartime ammunition. Most 1944 Lincoln cents were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Millions were made, and many are still found today. But here is where things get interesting. In the middle of all that mass production, mistakes happened. And those mistakes are what collectors dream about. The most famous and valuable error is the 1944 steel wheat penny. This coin was never supposed to exist. A small number of leftover steel blanks from 1943 were accidentally fed into the presses in 1944. When the dies struck them with the 1944 date, history was made. These steel pennies look silver or gray instead of brown. They do not stick out unless you know what to look for. A simple magnet test can reveal their secret, because steel sticks to a magnet while copper does not. Finding one of these is like winning the coin lottery. Another rare and exciting variety is the 1944 wheat penny struck on a bronze planchet meant for foreign coins or with improper metal composition. Some examples have unusual weight or color, showing that something went wrong at the mint. These coins are carefully studied by experts, because even small differences can mean a huge jump in value. Collectors also pay close attention to mint marks. A 1944 penny with a D mint mark from Denver or an S mint mark from San Francisco can be more desirable in higher grades. Condition matters a lot. A coin that has sharp details, clear wheat stalks, and original luster can be worth many times more than a worn example. Look closely at Lincoln's face, the date, and the wheat ears on the reverse. Weak strikes, doubling, or off-center designs can also add collector interest. There are also double die errors to watch for. On some coins, you may notice doubling in the date or the lettering of the words Liberty or In God We Trust. This doubling is not damage. It happened during the minting process when the die itself was misaligned. These errors are highly collectible and carefully authenticated. For collectors, the 1944 wheat penny represents the perfect mix of history, mystery, and possibility. It is common enough that many people have handled one, but rare enough in certain forms to keep the hunt exciting. Every coin roll, every old jar, every inherited collection carries the chance that something special is hiding inside. Now let us talk about value, because this is the moment everyone waits for. A regular 1944 Lincoln wheat penny in circulated condition is usually worth a small premium over face value, while uncirculated examples can be worth several dollars depending on quality. Coins with strong luster and know where can sell for tens of dollars at market. Error coins change everything. A genuine 1944 steel wheat penny has sold at auction for values reaching into the hundreds of thousands of dollars in top condition. Well-preserved examples often sell for tens of thousands of dollars. Double die and other major error varieties can sell for hundreds to several $1,000s depending on rarity and grade. Always remember, real market price and auction value depend on condition, authenticity, and collector demand, so professional grading is essential before selling or buying. If you enjoyed learning about this incredible coin, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and comment below if you have ever found a wheat penny in your change. Keep checking your coins, because history and hidden value may already be in your pocket. Coin 2, we are stepping back into the 1940s, a decade that changed America forever, and we are doing it through one small copper coin that many people still overlook. The Lincoln wheat penny from the 1940s may seem common at first glance, but hidden within this decade are some of the most fascinating stories, rare varieties, and valuable minting errors in U.S. coin history. If you love coins, history, or the thrill of discovering something rare, listen very carefully, because this is a decade every collector should understand. The 1940s were dominated by World War II. The United States was fully engaged, factories were producing weapons, vehicles, and supplies around the clock, and even the coins in your pocket were affected by the war. Lincoln wheat pennies from this decade were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and while millions were made, not all were created equal. Some were struck under extreme pressure to meet demand, which led to mistakes. Those mistakes are what make certain 1940s wheat pennies so exciting and valuable today. Let's start with the metal itself. In 1943, copper was needed for the war, so the mint switched to steel pennies. But before and after that year, copper-based pennies were still produced. That makes the surrounding years, including 1940, 1941, 1942, 1944, 1945, 1946, 1947, 1948, and 1949, especially interesting. The changes in metal, production speed, and working conditions created perfect opportunities for rare errors. One of the most famous rarities tied to this decade is the 1943 copper wheat penny. It was never supposed to exist, yet a few copper blanks were accidentally used. These coins look normal but represent one of the greatest minting mistakes ever. Even outside of that legendary coin, there are many other valuable varieties collectors search for in the 1940s. Mint marks play a major role. Coins with the D mint mark from Denver and the S mint mark from San Francisco are often scarcer in high grades. Condition is everything. A heavily worn wheat penny may be worth very little, but one with sharp details, full wheat lines, and original red or red-brown color can be worth many times more. Collectors closely inspect Lincoln's hair, cheek, and jaw, as well as the wheat stalks on the reverse. Errors are where the real excitement begins. Double die errors from the 1940s can show strong doubling on the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust. These are not scratches or damage. They happen during the die creation process and are highly collectible. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and wrong metal errors also appear in this decade and can dramatically increase value. Some pennies were struck slightly off-center, making the design shift visibly. Others were struck on planchets meant for different coins. Another collector favorite is the 1942 wheat penny, which exists in both copper and silver-colored versions. Some were struck in copper before the wartime change, while others were struck in a silver-colored alloy later that year. This alone makes 1942 one of the most studied years of the decade. What makes the 1940s wheat pennies so special is the connection to real history. These coins passed through the hands of factory workers, soldiers' families, and everyday Americans during one of the most intense periods the nation has ever experienced. Holding one is like holding a small piece of that story. Now let us talk about value, because this is what everyone wants to know. Common 1940s Lincoln wheat pennies in circulated condition usually sell for a small premium over face value. Uncirculated examples with strong original color can sell for several dollars to several tens of dollars depending on condition and mint mark. Scarcer dates and high-grade examples can bring values in the hundreds of dollars. Major error coins such as double dies, wrong metal strikes, or off-center errors can sell for hundreds to several $1,000s. Legendary rarities like the 1943 copper wheat penny have reached auction prices in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Real market price and auction value always depend on authenticity, condition, and collector demand, so professional grading is strongly recommended. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the rare and valuable Lincoln wheat pennies of the 1940s, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more coin stories, and comment below if you have ever found a wheat penny from this incredible decade. Keep searching your change and collections, because history and hidden value may already be waiting for you. Coin 3. We are focusing on a coin that many collectors have seen, some may even have ignored, but very few truly understand. The United States of America Lincoln 1 cent from 1954 with the D mint mark is a wheat penny that quietly carries history, mystery, and surprising collector potential. At first glance, it looks like just another old copper cent. But if you listen closely and look carefully, this coin begins to tell a much deeper story. By 1954, America was no longer at war, but the echoes of World War II were still present. The economy was growing, people were saving coins in jars, and the U.S. Mint was producing massive quantities of Lincoln wheat pennies to meet everyday demand. The Denver Mint played a major role this year, striking millions of cents marked with a small d below the date. Because so many were made, many people assume the 1954 D wheat penny is common and unimportant. That assumption is exactly what makes this coin interesting. While most 1954 D pennies are indeed common in worn condition, collectors know that rarity is not always about how many were made. It is about how many survived in high quality and how many contain special characteristics. Condition is critical. A worn example that has spent decades in circulation tells a story, but it holds modest value. However, a sharply struck coin with full wheat lines, strong detail on Lincoln's hair and coat, and original red color becomes far more desirable. One of the key reasons collectors study the 1954 D wheat penny is strike quality. Denver minted coins from this period often show weak strikes. That means finding one with crisp details and strong lettering is much harder than it seems. Coins with bold wheat ears and clear separation in the lines immediately catch a collector's eye. Errors are another major source of excitement. Some 1954 D pennies show repunched mint marks, where the D was punched more than once, creating a doubled or shadow-like effect. These are genuine mint errors and not damage. There are also double die varieties to watch for, where doubling can appear on the date or lettering such as Liberty or In God We Trust. These coins were created when the die itself was misaligned, making them highly collectible. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks are also found on some examples. A visible die crack running through the design or a coin struck off-center can dramatically increase interest and value. Each error tells a story of the intense speed and pressure under which the mint was operating. For collectors, the 1954 D wheat penny represents a perfect challenge. It is affordable enough for beginners, yet complex enough for advanced collectors to search for top-grade examples and rare varieties. It rewards patience, careful inspection, and knowledge. Many serious collectors have upgraded the same coin multiple times, always searching for a sharper strike or better color. There is also emotional value. These pennies circulated during a time of optimism and growth in America. They passed through grocery stores, movie theaters, and family businesses. Holding one connects you directly to everyday life in the 1950s. Now let us talk about value, because this is the part everyone waits for. A typical 1954 D Lincoln wheat penny in circulated condition usually sells for a small premium over face value. Uncirculated examples with brown color can sell for several dollars, while red-brown and full red examples can reach values in the tens of dollars depending on quality. High-grade coins with exceptional strike and color have sold at auction for values reaching into the hundreds of dollars. Error coins such as repunched mint marks, doubled dies, or major striking errors can sell for hundreds to several $1,000s depending on rarity and condition. Real market price and auction value always depend on authenticity, grade, and collector demand, so professional grading is strongly recommended. If you enjoyed this deep and careful look at the 1954 D Lincoln wheat penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and comment below if you have one in your collection. Keep looking closely at your coins, because even the most familiar penny can hide an extraordinary story. Coin 4. we are traveling back to a fascinating moment in American history through one small copper coin that many people have held but very few truly understand. The United States of America Lincoln 1 cent from 1948 is a wheat penny that quietly bridges the wartime era and the modern age. It may look simple, but for collectors, this coin carries history, rarity, and hidden surprises that can make it far more valuable than most people realize. So listen carefully, relax, and enjoy this journey into one of the most underrated Lincoln wheat pennies. The year 1948 came just after World War II, during a time when America was rebuilding, expanding, and looking toward the future. Soldiers had returned home, factories shifted from war production to consumer goods, and everyday life slowly found a new rhythm. The U.S. Mint was busy striking coins for a growing economy, and Lincoln wheat pennies were still an essential part of daily transactions. These coins were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and millions entered circulation almost immediately. Because so many 1948 wheat pennies were produced, many people assume they are common and unimportant. But collectors know that rarity is not always about low mintage numbers. It is about survival, condition, and special characteristics. Over decades of circulation, most of these coins became worn, scratched, or damaged. Finding a well-preserved example today is far more difficult than it sounds. Condition plays a major role in the appeal of the 1948 wheat penny. Collectors carefully examine Lincoln's portrait, especially the hair above the ear, the cheek, and the jawline. On the reverse, the wheat stalks should show clear separation and strong lines. Coins with weak strikes or heavy wear are common, but sharply struck pieces with full detail stand out immediately. Original color is also important. Pennies that retain red or red-brown tones from the mint are far more desirable than dark brown examples. Errors are where the excitement truly begins. Some 1948 wheat pennies display doubled die characteristics, where parts of the date or lettering appear doubled. This doubling occurred during the die-making process and is highly collectible. There are also repunched mint mark varieties, especially on Denver and San Francisco coins, where the mint mark was punched more than once, leaving visible outlines or shadows. Other errors include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks. An off-center coin shows part of the design shifted away from the center, while clipped planchets appear to have a section missing due to a metal cutting error. Die cracks can run through Lincoln's portrait or across the wheat stalks, creating unique patterns that collectors find fascinating. Each error is different, making every discovery feel personal and exciting. What makes the 1948 wheat penny especially appealing to collectors is its balance. It is old enough to carry strong historical value, yet modern enough that many examples still exist for people to search through rolls, collections, and old jars. It rewards patience and knowledge, and it encourages collectors to slow down and truly study their coins. There is also a strong emotional connection to this penny. It passed through the hands of families during a hopeful time in America. It paid for groceries, newspapers, and movie tickets. Holding one today is like holding a small piece of everyday history, frozen in copper. Now let us talk about value, because this is the moment everyone waits for. A typical 1948 Lincoln wheat penny in circulated condition usually sells for a small premium over face value. Uncirculated examples with brown color can sell for several dollars, while red-brown and full red examples can reach values in the tens of dollars depending on quality and mint mark. High-grade coins with exceptional strike and original color have sold at auction for values reaching into the hundreds of dollars. Error coins such as double dies, repunched mint marks, and major striking errors can sell for hundreds to several $1,000s depending on rarity and condition. Real market price and auction value always depend on authenticity, grade, and collector demand, so professional grading is strongly recommended. If you enjoyed this deep and careful look at the 1948 Lincoln wheat penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and comment below if you have found one in your collection. Keep checking your coins closely, because even a familiar penny can still hold an extraordinary surprise. Coin 5. We are stepping into the early 1950s, a time of rebuilding, growth, and quiet confidence in the United States, through a single small coin that many people still underestimate. The United States of America Lincoln 1 cent from 1950 is a wheat penny that appears simple, familiar, and almost ordinary. But for collectors who truly listen to its story, this coin reveals rarity, minting secrets, and collector value that can turn a forgotten penny into something worth serious attention. So settle in, listen carefully, and enjoy this deep dive made especially for true coin lovers. By 1950, America had moved past the hardships of World War II and was entering a new era of prosperity. Families were growing, businesses were expanding, and everyday commerce relied heavily on small change. The Lincoln wheat penny was still a workhorse of the economy. Millions were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and they circulated heavily across the country. Because of this, most people believe the 1950 wheat penny is common. That belief is only partly true. Collectors understand that rarity is not just about how many coins were made. It is about how many survived in desirable condition. Most 1950 wheat pennies were used hard. They jingled in pockets, slid across counters, and spent years in circulation. As a result, well-preserved examples are far scarcer than many realize. Finding one with sharp detail, clean surfaces, and original color is a real challenge. When examining a 1950 wheat penny, collectors look closely at Lincoln's portrait. The hair above the ear, the cheekbone, and the coat lines are key indicators of wear. On the reverse, the wheat stalks should show full lines and strong separation. Many coins from this year show weak strikes, especially on the reverse, making sharply struck examples especially desirable. Errors are where this coin becomes truly exciting. Some 1950 wheat pennies show double die characteristics, where the date or lettering appears double due to a misaligned die during production. This is a true mint error and highly collectible. Repunched mint marks are also known, particularly on Denver and San Francisco issues, where the mint mark was stamped more than once, leaving a visible outline or shadow. Other fascinating errors include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks. An off-center coin might show part of the design missing, while a clipped planchet looks like a small bite was taken out of the coin. Die cracks can appear as raised lines across Lincoln's face or through the wheat stalks, each one unique and visually interesting. These errors transform an ordinary penny into a one-of-a-kind collectible. The 1950 wheat penny also appeals to collectors because of its place in history. It represents a calm moment between eras, after wartime sacrifice and before major design changes. Just a few years later, the wheat reverse would be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial. This makes the 1950 penny part of the final chapter of the classic wheat series, adding to its long-term appeal. There is something deeply satisfying about holding this coin. It passed through the hands of everyday Americans during a hopeful time. It paid for newspapers, candy, and coffee. It is history you can touch, study, and preserve. Now let us talk about value, because this is what everyone wants to know. A typical 1950 Lincoln wheat penny in circulated condition usually sells for a small premium over face value. Uncirculated examples with brown color can sell for several dollars, while red-brown and full red examples often reach values in the tens of dollars depending on quality and mint mark. High-grade coins with strong strike and original color have achieved auction values in the hundreds of dollars. Error coins such as double dies, repunched mint marks, and major striking errors can sell for hundreds to several $1,000s depending on rarity and condition. Real market price and auction value always depend on authenticity, grade, and collector demand, so professional grading is strongly recommended. If you enjoyed this detailed and relaxing journey into the 1950 Lincoln wheat penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and comment below if you have one in your collection. Keep looking closely at your coins, because even a simple penny can hold an extraordinary secret. Coin 6. We are going back to a powerful moment in American history, just after the end of World War II, through a small copper coin that carries far more meaning than its size suggests. The United States of America Lincoln 1 cent from 1946 is a wheat penny that marks a new beginning for the nation. It is the first regular wheat penny struck after the war ended, and because of that, collectors see it as a symbol of relief, recovery, and hope. This coin may look simple, but its story, varieties, and hidden errors make it a fascinating piece for every coin lover, so listen carefully and enjoy every moment of this journey. In 1946, America was adjusting to peace. Soldiers were returning home, factories were shifting from wartime production back to consumer goods, and everyday life was slowly normalizing. The U.S. Mint resumed full peacetime coin production, and Lincoln wheat pennies once again flowed into circulation. These coins were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and millions were produced to meet the needs of a growing economy. Even though the mintage numbers were high, most of these pennies were heavily used, which is why high-quality examples are much harder to find today. Collectors pay close attention to the condition of a 1946 wheat penny. Lincoln's portrait is carefully examined, especially the hair above the ear, the cheek, and the jawline, where wear shows first. On the reverse, the wheat stalks should display strong lines and clear separation. Many coins from this year show softness and strike, especially on the reverse, making sharply detailed examples especially desirable. Original color is another key factor. Coins that still show red or red-brown tones from the mint are far more collectible than dark brown examples. What truly makes the 1946 wheat penny exciting is the range of errors and varieties that can be found. Double die errors are among the most sought after. These can appear as doubling on the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust. This type of doubling happened during the die creation process and is considered a true mint error, not damage. Even light doubling can significantly increase collector interest. Repunched mint marks are another variety collectors watch for, particularly on Denver and San Francisco coins. In these cases, the mint mark was punched more than once into the die, leaving a visible outline or shadow. Off-center strikes are also known, where the design is shifted and part of the coin is missing detail. Clipped planchets, which look like a small section of the coin was cut away, and die cracks, which appear as raised lines across the design, add even more excitement. Each error tells a unique story of how fast and demanding coin production was during this period. The historical importance of the 1946 wheat penny adds to its appeal. It represents the first breath of normal life after years of global conflict. This coin circulated in grocery stores, diners, and movie theaters during a time when people were rebuilding their lives. Holding one today connects you directly to that hopeful moment in history. Collectors also appreciate that the 1946 wheat penny is part of the later years of the wheat series. Just a little more than a decade later, the design would change forever. That makes this coin part of the closing chapter of a classic era in American coinage, increasing its long-term interest. Now let us talk about value, because this is what everyone wants to know. A typical 1946 Lincoln wheat penny in circulated condition usually sells for a small premium over face value. Uncirculated examples with brown color can sell for several dollars, while red-brown and full red examples can reach values in the tens of dollars depending on quality and mint mark. High-grade coins with strong strike and original color have sold at auction for values reaching into the hundreds of dollars. Error coins such as double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and other major minting errors can sell for hundreds to several $1,000s depending on rarity and condition. Real market price and auction value always depend on authenticity, grade, and collector demand, so professional grading is strongly recommended. If you enjoyed this calm but powerful exploration of the 1946 Lincoln wheat penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and comment below if you have one in your collection. Keep looking closely at your coins, because even a quiet penny can carry an extraordinary piece of history. Coin 7. We are stepping into the final years of the legendary Lincoln wheat penny era by focusing on a coin that many people have seen but very few truly appreciate. The United States of America Lincoln 1 cent from 1957 with the D mint mark is more than just an old penny. It represents the closing chapter of a historic design, the daily life of post-war America, and a surprising world of collector value hidden in small details. So slow down, listen carefully, and enjoy this deep and relaxing story made especially for true coin lovers. By 1957, America was experiencing strong economic growth. Suburbs were expanding, families were thriving, and everyday life relied heavily on pocket change. The Denver Mint was producing enormous quantities of Lincoln wheat pennies to keep up with demand. Because so many 1957 wheat pennies were minted, many people believe this coin has no special value. But experienced collectors know that high mintage does not mean high survival in quality condition. Most 1957 pennies circulated heavily. They were handled daily, dropped on hard surfaces, and passed from hand to hand for years. As a result, coins with strong detail, clean surfaces, and original mint color are much scarcer than people expect. When collectors examine this coin, they study Lincoln's portrait closely, especially the hair above the ear, the cheek, and the coat lines. On the reverse, the wheat stalks should show full, sharp lines. Weak strikes are common for Denver issues of this period, which makes fully struck examples especially desirable. One of the biggest reasons collectors search for the 1957 wheat penny is the wide range of minting errors and varieties. Double die errors are among the most exciting. These can show clear doubling on the date or lettering such as Liberty and In God We Trust. This doubling occurred during the die creation process and is considered a true mint error, not damage. Even minor double die examples attract serious attention. Repunched mint marks are another collectible feature. In some cases, the D mint mark was punched more than once into the die, leaving a visible shadow or outline. These varieties require careful inspection but can significantly increase collector interest. Die cracks are also seen on some examples, appearing as raised lines across Lincoln's portrait or through the wheat stalks. Each crack is unique, making every coin slightly different. Off-center strikes and clipped planchets add another layer of excitement. An off-center coin may show part of the design shifted toward the edge, while a clipped planchet looks like a small section of the coin is missing. These errors happen during high-speed production and transform an ordinary penny into a unique collectible. The 1957 wheat penny is also historically important because it comes from the very end of the wheat reverse design. Just 1 year later, the reverse would change forever to the Lincoln Memorial. That makes this coin part of the final generation of a design that had been used for half a century. Collectors often feel a strong emotional connection to these late-date wheat pennies because they mark the end of an era. There is something special about holding this coin today. It passed through diners, corner stores, and movie theaters during a time of optimism and growth. It is a quiet reminder of everyday American life in the 1950s, preserved in copper. Now let us talk about value, because this is the moment everyone waits for. A typical 1957 Lincoln wheat penny in circulated condition usually sells for a small premium over face value. Uncirculated examples with brown color can sell for several dollars, while red-brown and full red examples often reach values described as tens of dollars depending on quality. High-grade coins with sharp strike and strong original color have achieved auction values reaching into the hundreds of dollars. Error coins such as double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and major minting errors can sell for values described as hundreds to several $1,000s depending on rarity and condition. Real market price and auction value always depend on authenticity, grade, and collector demand, so professional grading is strongly recommended. If you enjoyed this deep and enjoyable look at the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and comment below if you have one in your collection. Keep checking your coins carefully, because even a familiar penny can still hold an extraordinary surprise.